तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल.
So, first of all, congratulations. Today we have with us Kalyan Prakash. He's recommended in his 8th attempt, and this was naval entry. So, those who are trying for naval entries, they can ask questions and queries. This was SSC GS Electrical from Kolkata, and he's from Karnataka. So, we will have a discussion. Sir, what motivated you to join the services initially? What was the start point?
Yeah, hi to all. But sorry for joining late by 10 minutes. But it was great listening to Nehru sir. So what motivated me to join the forces is till my third year of engineering, I never knew I could join any force or I could join any armed forces, because in Karnataka, in my place, these army, navy, everything, no one goes into that actually. So when I was in my third year, I joined in my third year, one of my senior went to Navy SSB. From him, I got to know about Navy. I researched about Navy. I was very interested. I was very passionate about it. So I started giving SSB from 2019. So then I got introduced. That is when I got introduced to Nehru sir as well. So yeah, that is how my journey started.
And what was your experience in your software development field, your work field? Because as you said, this happens generally in down south, that people are not very aware of the armed forces, or not initially they are hesitant, but then later on the passion develops. So how did that evolution happen, and what was your experience as software developer?
Yeah, so I would tell, when I got to know about Navy itself, then I was very clear that I want to join. But as Nehru sir suggested, I had to have a backup plan. So this, whatever I got into the software field, so it was my backup, but I was very good at it. So I worked for around 1.5 years in one MNC. Next, I shifted to another MNC. I was very keen in learning software. Also, I was doing pretty much well in my domain as well. That is what even I spoke to Nehru sir many times, that sir, I am not able to concentrate on the regular sessions, whatever happens on the group. Sir told, no, that's not an issue. Just concentrate on your work. So that is what I did. I was very good at my work. So that is the reason where I got a very good hike to my second company using my skills. So yeah, that is it about my software experience.
And as you said, how this work profile helped you to gain confidence in your SSB as well? What contribution work had in your recommendation?
Yeah, see, whenever you are in a software field, you will have to constantly, when I was in my first company, I was the one who was giving the daily updates to the US clients. So I had to talk, I had to interact with them, I had to be formal. So I developed, like there was no any hesitation to talking to people. So that is where I think I met a lot of new people. I understood new people. I understood what they're into, what their interests are. Like, we get to meet a lot of variety of people in the software domain. So I think that has also helped me in my SSB. And also, whenever there is any work given to me, I used to extend my work hours. I used to do it. I used to do it on time, and I used to give it. So that also helped me to pick up my discipline in terms of SSB as well.
Thank you. Please tell us about your previous attempts. This was your 8th attempt. So what happened in the last 7 attempts? What difference did you see in your attempt that you were recommended in, and the previous attempts?
Yeah. So my first attempt was in Visakhapatnam. It was my first attempt. I got screened in. After that, I was not very much not aware of the process. That is when I just went to Nehru sir. So I was not much aware about the process. So that is when I got conferenced out there. Next, after that, I got screened out continuously for 4 times. I was not aware until then. I was not seeing Nehru sir's videos, everything. So I got continuously screened out 4 times. After that, in my 6th attempt, I started to see Nehru sir's video. That was when it helped me a lot. I had some misconceptions about the screening process. So that is when it helped me a lot. I used to watch Nehru sir's video before. If there is screening tomorrow, the night before I used to watch it, so that I have that clear in my mind what I should do and what I have to go ahead in the process. So that helped me. In the sixth attempt, I was screened in. It was again at Vishakhapatnam, but that time I was very keen to get recommended, because after 4 screen outs, I was very keen to get recommended. So I think I had some misconceptions again. So I got conferenced out again there. Next attempt was in Kolkata. So there also, even I was desperate to get recommended. So that made me get conferenced out there as well. After that, in my 8th attempt, I was very calm. I give it as a fresh attempt. So every time after every SSB, I used to have a conversation with Nehru sir. So he used to tell me what are my setbacks, he used to tell me, you have to increase your reasoning ability. By then I started reading some books. He asked me to read some books. He will develop the reasoning ability. So I started reading books. In this attempt, I had completed around 2 books. So I told the same in the interview as well. So I was very calm in my interview this time. I was not worrying about recommendation. I was giving it as a fresh attempt. So I think that helped me get recommended again in Kolkata.
So, please start off with your first day, that is screening process, and you can share your entire experience one by one. The day one screening, then psychology, one by one you can share.
Yeah. So the first day, there were around 60 people who reported, and the first picture was shown. A picture was shown, and it was a slightly hazy picture where a person was standing with a hand on the other person. I just wrote a normal story, like how it was one son and one father story, where a father was helping his son to get over his engineering placements. Yeah, how the father helped. I just made a small story. I narrated it very crisply. Like, we have to, the main thing in PPDT is you have to listen to the instructions of the assessors. Whenever they tell you, they mention you clearly that you have to keep your narration short and crisp. So many people narrate more than they tend to extend their stories. They do all those things. So what I did is I kept it very crisp. I made, before the narration started, after the writing the story, we'll get some time. I made up in my mind that I'll tell these points. I made a flow in my mind itself before the narration started. So I was able to finish the narration in around 45 seconds to 50 seconds. After that, in the group discussion, it was like a fish market, since it is a repeater batch. So again, they divided us into 2 groups. Matlab, there was 15 members, and they divided us into 2 groups. That is when I gave some 2 or 3 valid points. And among 60, around 20 of us got screened in. Next, in the psychology tests, this time there were a series of pictures which were related to education. One person is getting graduated, one person is writing examination, someone is going to the teacher going to the teacher for some doubts. It was all pictures were correlated in the psychology test. So my stories were revolving around the same theme, because that is what came to my mind first. So I wrote whatever came to my mind with my experiences, whatever my engineering experiences, whatever projects I did, whatever experiences I had, I wrote that. And if I had whatever came to my mind first, I written them very clearly in TAT. Next, coming to VAT as well, in the previous attempts, I used to worry about what I should write. I have to write this sentence. This is the good sentence. But this time I did not worry about it. Whatever came to my mind first, I just put them down on the sheet. So I was able to complete 60 out of 60 VAT as well. When coming to SRTs, I took some time for the longer SRTs. If the same time, last time also, what I used to do is I was in a hurry to complete the SRTs. I used to complete around 55, 56 SRTs, but they were very short and did not give a proper response to that particular SRT. So this time I did not think much. Whatever came to my mind first, I rearranged them in my mind, and I wrote it. I was able to attempt around 45 SRTs this time. They were good enough. The responses were all good enough. They were sensible this time. And next, coming to the SD, I had already sent the SD to Nehru sir. So he had already told me that in previous attempts, this is fine. So I had wrote the same SD. It was good. This time, in this attempt in Kolkata, they actually asked for 2 new SDs. That is, what kind of person you are and what kind of person you want to be. These two things will be there. So this I had to rearrange my mind, because it will come in like in other SSBs, it will come under my opinion. What is your opinion or yourself? So I had to divide my opinion into among these two things. So I divided them. I wrote them very well. That was about psychology text. Next, our GTO began. So GTO first in GD and all, it was very normal GDs. I was able to speak around 2-3 times. I gave valid points. It was very fish market. Everyone was trying to dominate one another, but I was calm. I was just adding to the points. Whatever points I got, I was not very keen to give the keen to speak, but I was tending to contribute to the group discussion. So I was able to contribute well in both the group discussions. And next,
How to balance this? Because that's a great big doubt, that you have to sail through the fish market without dominating the group. So how did you do that?
means if you ask me about that, if you have that mindset that you have to speak at least for 1 or 2 times, then you will tend to dominate it. But if you don't have that mindset, and if you just want to contribute to the GD, if you have some, you are thinking like you are listening to people who are telling, and if you want to contribute to the GD, then there will be around minute second where everyone will be everyone will calm down. So that time you can easily give your points. It is not like it is not a matter. If you only want to, if you don't have any point but want to speak, then it is a problem for you that you will dominate. So yeah, I think that is the main thing in GD. Next our lecturate. In lecturate, I got good topic. I got actually I got all 5 very difficult topics. It was I didn't even heard of one topic also. At the last, one topic was president rule in India. So that I was aware of very much about the president rule in India. I spoke about the emergency powers, the financial emergency, the state and the state of Jammu and Kashmir, what issues they are facing. I spoke very well around for 3 minutes. I was able to complete well in 3 minutes. Next, in PGT, I was in the last attempts. I was moving forward. I did, even though I did not have any ideas. I was just moving forward, and I was just trying to do something. So this time I was calm. This time I don't know, but since I was calm, I was getting ideas automatically. Even I was not trying to act to get recommended this time. So this time I was able to guide the group, guide the group through the ideas I got. But even though the group, they were trying to interrupt me in middle, they were telling we cannot do this, we cannot do that. I was okay. I told them, okay, come inside and I'll go out. You can come and do it. So they came in. They were not able to do it. At the end, in one of the obstacle, whatever I did first, that was the solution. And GTO at the end, he told that is the solution. You have to do like that. So I was able to give very good ideas in
How to come with those ideas? Did you watch any videos? What reference?
Yeah. Yeah, so I took Nehru sir's advice. So he used to watch, there are many videos on YouTube where people keep solving the PGT. There are structures on YouTube. So I used to watch that, but the main thing which you have to keep in your mind is there are many coaching academies who has this video. You can watch them, but the main thing is that don't look for the solutions, what they are doing. Just pause the video and see the structure and think what you can do. Because if you see that solutions, you will have an like you will have that thing that you have to do this only for this. If this comes, I have to do this. You will not be able to think much. So I think you should just see the structures. You have to pause it and you have to see how can I bridge this, how can I bridge that. You have to get that idea in your mind. So I think that helped me a lot. So in my previous attempts, I was not getting much ideas, but this attempt, since the other thing is that you have to be very calm. And you should not have that thing that I have to perform very well, I have to outperform. So you should not have that thing. You should have the main motto of the PGT is that you are a part of team and you have to go ahead with the team. So that is what I had in my mind. I had to go with the team. So I was in PGT first, second, PGT 1, 2, I was able to give good ideas. In third also I gave good ideas. Because I and the other person who got recommended, we both only were giving ideas. Others were just shouting. Even GTO told, don't shout, just work. So but they were not listening to us. They wasted a lot of time. But we somehow we were able to come to PGT3. And in PGT3, in the third task, I did not get an idea. But the main thing in PGT is you have to keep listening to others as well. It is not that you only will do everything. You have to keep listening to others. I was listening to everyone. One person gave an idea. I told him, okay, come inside, do it. And he was able to do it. So that is when we cleared PGT3. And we had lost the time. So we could not go to PGT4, and we could not complete it. So the GTO told, I'm giving you a concession. You can stop it here. So that is regarding my PGT. And next in HGT, it was we were able to do that HGT task in around 2 to 3 minutes, because our first half, it was very calm group. So we were able to complete it in 2 or 3 minutes, even though it was a difficult one. We were the person who got recommended with me, he was also in my group. We both gave ideas, the others also gave ideas. We were able to complete it in 2 or 3 minutes. So we sailed that through. And next, coming to GPE. GPE, I wrote whatever sir has written in the book. I wrote in the same way. I completed in 5 minutes, and everyone were looking around me, what this guy is doing. He's completed in 5 minutes. So even the GT was looking from the outside the window, what is this guy doing? So after that, the discussion started. After discussion started, it was very much fish market, even though we tried to give our points. So there was one problem in the GPE that
Please describe, because it can help
yeah.
everyone, those who have doubts in GP, how to solve.
Yeah, so there was one problem in my GPE, that one elephant was getting killed at 1:30 p.m. and the other was a bank robbery was about to happen at 2:30 p.m. So what the entire team, except the person who with me, the person who got recommended with me and also me, we were telling that the second priority should be given to the elephant which is getting killed at 1:30 p.m. Since the robbery happens at 2:30 p.m., we can solve it, however. But nobody listened to us, so we kept shut. I did not even give 1 point in GPE. I was simply quiet. Let them do whatever they want. I left them, because we tried giving valid points and they were not listening to us. I was shut, and we both were shut, and we tried to tell 2 times also, like this is not the correct priority, whatever you are doing. And even though the whatever discussions they did, it was not practical enough. So as Nehru sir says, you have to consider both. If there is a problem, you have to consider both the timing to complete that problem, the distance you travel to that, all those things you have to complete. You have to take into consideration and give the time and distance. So we had to reach, there was in the GP problem, we had to reach a volleyball tournament at 4:30 p.m. And these guys, what they did was they completed all the priorities by 1:30 p.m. And whatever I wrote in that, I was able to complete all the problems by around 2:45 or 3. I was able to complete it. Even the person who got recommended with me also, he was also able to complete like that only. But others, they were telling that by 12:30 we'll do it, by 1:30 we'll do it. We tried to tell in the discussion, but nobody listened to us. So the main point in GP is that you have to make a practical solutions, not that you are not some racer to go in the car, do it very quickly. You should not all do that. So you have to be practical. What happens, where you have to, if somebody is injured, which is the nearest hospital you have to take them to. You have to be aware all those. You have to assume those things, because those things won't be given in your problem. So you have to assume all those things and come with a good solution. So at the end of the GPE, the GTO asked me, GTO asked everyone, does anyone want to add any point? I just raised my hand and I told him, sir, I think the second priority has to be given to the elephant which is getting killed. So the GTO also understood. Okay, fine. Assuming that everything happens at once, at once, so we can have that. That is not a problem, he told, and he closed it. So that is what was my experience about GPE. Next, coming to my GOR, the snake race. So in the snake race, I think many people, they want to go. They want to. There was in my last. My last SSB was also in Kolkata only. So I remember one sentence from one of the GTO there. In this attempt also, that helped me a lot. He told me, "Don't be a monkey if you are not a monkey." So yeah, so whenever if you're not able to climb the wall, don't just go and bounce on it. Don't do all those things. If someone is lean, he's able to climb the wall, just go and do it. Just let him do it. So when there was around the 8-foot wall whichever came up, so nobody was helping each other. Everyone was climbing onto the wall. I was the only person who was lifting everyone up from down. I was very tired lifting around 85 kg persons, 90 kg persons from the down. Even GT was standing beside me and he was noting something, because I was the only person who was pushing them up. Nobody was even caring to help others. So the main thing in GOR, PGT, whatever you do in GTO, you have to help each other. You have to be a team player, but don't have that preconceived mindset that you have to help. It has to come to you naturally. If you are a good person, if you are a team person, obviously it will come out, but don't try to act there. So if you try to act, you will easily get caught by the GTO because he is very much experienced. So I helped people very much. So that was in GTO, we were able to do pretty much well. So that was about the GOR. Next.
Since we have come to the GOR part or the group obstacle race, please tell us something regarding our fitness.
Yeah, actually, I would tell I was not very much into fitness, but I would tell I was very consistent. I was not regular, but I was consistent. I used to run in the morning, but I was not very consistent because of my job schedule, because sometimes my meetings, everything would go up to 12 o'clock in the night. So it was a bit hard to manage, but I was consistent enough. I was able to do well in the GOR. But the main thing which matters in GOR is that your fitness, you don't need to have a very high standard of fitness. If you are running very well for 5 kilometers in the morning, you are not very lazy, and if you're not lazy enough, so that will help you very much. If you are fit also, it is well and good, but the main minimum criteria for GOR is that if you are running 5 kilometers, if you are doing proper exercises, then it is well and good. Yeah, that is about the GOR. Next, coming to my command task. In my command task, GTO called me and he just asked me, where are you from, all those things. And at the end, he asked me, your interview is done. Whether you, like, he asked me, your interview is done. I told him, no, sir, it is not done. So he gave me an indication there itself that you are an SSB veteran, you will sail through this time. He told me directly like that. In my command task. So in my command task, it was not very complex, but the GTO told me there was a structure in between. So he told me, use this structure and only move ahead. Before beginning the command task itself, he told me that in the center there is this obstacle. You have to use that and only move ahead. So then I called my subordinates. I told them, I clearly briefed them that we have to use the center obstacle and we have to move ahead. So when I came to that center obstacle, I was not getting idea. So I asked my subordinates, even they were not getting idea. Then the GTO gave me a hint that can you use a rope? With that one hint, I was able to do it. I was able to do a tight, and I was able to do it in 2 or 3 minutes. So that was about my command task. Yeah, that is all about in my next is individual obstacles. The same thing. Yeah.
Whatever that you can recollect for us.
Yeah. In individual obstacles, I again kept the same thing in my mind, that if you're not a monkey, don't be a monkey. So I was doing it very calm. I was doing it slowly. I was able first one more thing, that in my last attempt, in the same Kolkata, I was able to only do 2 individual obstacles, because I wasted one and a half minute in one commando walk, because I didn't know it was very shaky. So I had to walk through it very quickly. But I thought in Visakhapatnam, I went to Visakhapatnam and other SSBs. It was not very shaky. Because they didn't give us any demo here in Kolkata also. So I started after doing the Burma Bridge. I started with the commando walk in my last attempt. It was very shaky and I was not able to do it. So I told this to Nehru sir. So after doing that commando walk, I did the tiger leap. So I told this to Nehru sir. So Nehru sir told, if you are confident enough to do the tiger leap, which is 10 marks, do it first. So this time I started with the tiger leap. So this time I started with tiger leap. I did very well this time. And the main thing which I was able to do only 7 obstacles, because it had rained very heavily in Kolkata. we like, even if we set our foot on the ground, there was a lot of water. We were not able to run properly. So all those things were there. So even GTO told us before the individual obstacles that if you are not able to do any obstacles, that is fine. I'll give a concession on that, because it was very wet. It was hard to run as well on the ground there. So I was able to complete around 7 obstacles in 3 minutes. I was not able to do, since I had fear in the commando walk because it would take time, I didn't do that commando walk. And I was not able to do the zigzag and also the Tarzan swing. I could have done it, but it was very wet. So I could not do that. So this was about my GTO, all the GTO tasks. And next, coming to my interview. So what happened for us was, all around 12 people's interview were still pending on the 4th day. So there were only 2 interviewing officers who were taking the interviews. So the interview happened very much in a hurry. Like, the interviewing officer was very much in a hurry. He wanted to complete the interview in 30 minutes because he had to take 6 or 7 people at once in the interview. So he was very much in a hurry. He just asked me about my personal. My first, he started with my personal. Where are you from? All those things, your educational background. He asked me all those things, and he asked me what exams you have cleared. I have not cleared CDS. I have not cleared AFCAT. I have cleared INET twice. They have conducted INET twice. I have cleared INET twice for the Navy. So I told him that. And he just all the normal questions, all the personal normal questions. And then he asked me about my hobbies and interests. So I was telling he asked me about what do you watch on YouTube. So I told him, sir, I watched some podcasts. I was telling about one of the podcasts, and he was like, in between, he was like, I'm not interested, move ahead. So I took it back, because if the interviewing officer tells like that, you lose your calmness. He told me directly on my face. I was telling it, and between he stopped me and he told me, I'm not interested, move ahead. So I was taken aback, but yeah, I came out of it very quickly. And he asked me, I told him in the hobbies I had written running and all. He asked me, how much time do you take for running? Since we use the running apps, I told him in minutes, I take this many minutes, all those things. So he was telling, is that how you tell the pace for running? I said, sir, I use the apps. I use the app for running. So in that app, it shows me the minutes only. So that's why I told you straightforward in minutes. So he was telling, he asked me again, what is the unit of speed? I told him, sir, kilometer per hour or meter per second. Then he told me, then tell me in kilometer per hour. Then I took 10 seconds. I calculated it in my mind and I told him back. So he was like, okay, that's fine. And again, he asked me about, I had done my engineering in BTech in electronics and communication. So he asked me, why did you come to software industry? And again, he asked me, I had shifted from one company to another company. So he asked me, why did you shift? I told him, I gave him honest answers. In the interview, the main thing is that you have to be very honest. There is nothing to hide. Uh, that is how my interview went. It did not take much time. It was only for 40 minutes. After I came out of the interviewers hall, I was like, this time I'm not getting recommended, because he was not interested to listen to me itself. So yeah, that is
You can give that assessment to Nehru sir. He will be the right person. Sometimes interview officers do that. Maybe that's a testing methodology as well. You go ahead with your
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, next is in conference. My conference, I waited in the conference hall for around 10 minutes outside. So I was, everyone were coming in 2 minutes, going out 2 minutes. I was very tensed. It took around 10 minutes. I was waiting outside for 10 minutes. After I went inside, they again started, for everyone, they were asking, how was your stay, all those things. But when I went inside, they started with, where are you from? I told me I'm from this place, and he told me, what is the famous places in your locality? I told him, sir, these are the places. I told him some historical places. So he told, oh, very much historical. Yours is a very much historical place. Yeah, I told him, yes, sir. And he again started with, why did you, again, he asked the same question, why did you join BTech in electronics and communication and again go into software industry? I told him the reason again properly, whatever I had told in the interview. Again, he asked me, why did you shift from one company to another? I told him, sir, I told him the reason why I shifted. I got a good opportunity, so I had to shift. I told him all those things, and he asked me. For others, they were asking, rate yourself out of 10 in psychology, all those things. But he asked me, what would have been went better this time. I told him, sir, in psychology, I think I had done only 45 SRTs. Maybe if I stayed much calmer, I could have done all the 60 SRTs. And in the interview, I was not able to answer few general awareness questions. Like in interview, he had asked me about height of Mount Everest, the trekking, where the base camp, from where the Mount Everest trek starts. I was not able to answer I was not able to recollect all those things. So I told him directly, sir, I think I will have to work on my general awareness. I have to read a lot of books. I've started reading books, but I have to read a lot of books. I have to read newspapers regularly. I told him all those things, and he asked me about GTO also. I told, in GTO, I think I could have implemented my plans much better. I think the conference went for around 8 to 10 minutes. Again, it was a mini interview. After that, I came outside, and after that, one after me, one guy went in, and when he was coming out, before the conference, before the results were announced, I got to know that I'm recommended, because one of the person who went out like one of the person who went into the conference hall, he saw my PIQ getting xeroxed. So he told me that, no, you got recommended. So yeah, I was before the results itself, I knew like I was getting recommended. Yeah. So yeah, that's my story.
Okay. So overall, tell us what advice will you have for repeaters? Repeaters who are apprehensive, repeaters who procrastinate or try to interpret what is happening during the SSBs. Something goes on in our mind, in our hearts, in the gut feeling that we get that this time ho jayega, nahi ho jayega, I am performing, I am not performing well, I am above average, I am below average, I am rating myself amongst the 10 people in the group, then rating my previous performance with this performance, comparing. So what advice will you have for repeaters?
Yeah, I have seen in my group itself, there were around repeaters who were there on their 15th attempt, 20 attempts. They were there in my group. But the main thing what repeaters have to keep in mind is that give your every attempt as a fresh attempt. Don't have preconceived mindset, and don't compare your progress. Whatever you are in the previous attempt, you are not the same in this attempt. And the main thing which helps you to keep calm and go through your SSBs well is that your daily routine. Maintain your daily routine very well, as Nehru sir suggests. So take help of Nehru sir, and you can have that routine very well scheduled, and don't be lazy enough. Have a good routine. That is what will help you through. Like, keep learning every day, keep building your interests. That is how you will come close to recommendation. Other than that, I don't think comparing the past experiences, it will not help very much. Because you got conference dot because you're not good enough. So you will have to learn new things, you will have to build up new things. Obviously all the repeaters will have conversations with Nehru sir after your conference outs. So take those feedback, start working on that instead of comparing your previous performance or this performance. I think this much better I did. Don't do that. All performance does not matter. Whatever you do in your next attempt, that is what matters. So start learning, start building yourself up, and have a good routine. I think the routine itself, your habits, your hobbies, all those things play a lot of thing in your recommendation. So I think you will have to have a good daily routine. Whatever you do on your weekends, that also matters. So don't force yourself. Don't force yourself to do like in this, today I should do this, today I should do that. Have a normal daily routine. As it is known to everyone that defense forces are not looking for extraordinary people. They are looking for normal people. So have a good routine, normal routine. That is it. So you will sail through, and don't overthink much. That is the main problem with repeaters. They will overthink much. Like in this GTO task in PGT, I should not have done this. I should have not done that. Leave that thing to dare itself, and give it as a fresh attempt every time in the next attempt. Yeah, that is my advice.
Good advice, that you gave as attempt every SSB as fresh attempt. Now I give it to Nehru sir.
Congrats, Kalyan. You have covered practically all the things. One thing which you have brought out very clearly, maybe not verbalized as much, but it has come out through your interview, that the essence of getting recommended is getting focused on your daily life to make yourself a more competent person. And thereafter, when you go for SSB, don't take too much of pressure and all that, because when you try to do too well there, actually you will end up spoiling things. So the hard work is here well before the SSB. Once you enter the SSB, 100 मीटर के ट्रैक में पहुंच गए तो वो तो जितनी एबिलिटी होगी उतना ही भागा जाएगा. It is not going to change drastically. So that has been the right approach you've had. I don't see that there is anything I have to ask. You have clarified everything. ये बताओ कहीं पहले कभी कोचिंग वोचिंग लिया था कहीं?
No, sir. It was from you itself. After that,
No, I have really nothing to ask. You are open to questions from others. Please go ahead.